My name is Thoraya.
My name is Tabitha.
My name is Karen, and my life has been
Impacted by domestic violence.
My dad was at the forefront of enacting laws to help victims of domestic violence. So I grew up knowing the importance of dealing with domestic violence. So if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. The abuse started out as verbal. And it's very insidious because you find yourself thinking that maybe you created the argument or said something to cause the argument. The escalation process is very dangerous and very subtle. And very quickly, it went from verbal and emotional abuse to physical abuse. And that physical stage made me realize and recognize that my life was in danger and that I needed to leave.
My ex and I were together on and off for 30 years. My personal experience with domestic violence is primarily stemming from my ex's drug addiction and abuse. He was physically abusive at times, mostly verbally, emotionally, and financially abusive. He had taken, the car. I had no phone. I had no money. I eventually stopped even trying to have relationships with people outside of his circle because I lived a different life, even in the same household. I was ashamed of how things went in my household.
My husband, Steve, is a survivor of domestic violence. We were close friends. We actually lived down the street from each other. So I had seen his family dynamic. I had seen his brother and his mother and his father. And I had no idea that anything was going on until after they had left the home. Slowly but surely, more and more, I would find out more. And it was more heartbreaking to hear.
Domestic violence knows no boundaries. It doesn't matter if you're a college graduate or a high school dropout. The potential to be a victim is equal and frightening.
Honestly, my biggest fear was more about his father. Will he locate where we are? Will he know that we have a child or children? Will he threaten to come after us?
And the moments that justify staying far, they get farther and fewer in between. I saw my son start to have problems in school. I saw my daughter begin to speak in ways in which I've spoken to her father. You get so tired of being attacked that you fight back. The ripple effect is exponential. The problems that it causes between you and your neighbors, between you and your supposed to be partner, between your children and other children. As mom, I'm being looked to also by a teenage boy and my daughter as, are you okay with this? Because if you're okay with this, then I guess we'll be okay with it.
There are 2 points in a victim's life that are life-changing. One is when you come to the realization that there's nothing that you can do to change it or make it go away. And the other is when you make the decision to leave. It is the beginning of the transition from victim to survivor. And New Life Center is there to help them with that transition.
The more tired you get of living life in the manner in which we were, the easier it becomes to notice it. The clarity is what brings forth the change. I didn't try to change my ex, but I waited entirely too long for him to realize he needed to change himself. So you realize the only way to stop it is to remove yourself from the situation.
New Life Center is one of the very few shelters in the country that accepts mothers with boys over the age of 10. Part of the great work that we do here is the young men that come here with their mothers that are victims of domestic violence, and they are given the tools and the resources to learn how to break that cycle of abuse. They come in closed and they leave open. It's such a beautiful transformation that there's no doubt in my mind that the work that's being done here at New Life Center is critical, it's rewarding, and it'll have a long-lasting ripple effect into the future.
I believe that my husband Steve became a police officer as a result of the domestic violence that he witnessed and faced as a child. And now he gets to be on the other end of it and there to help people. One of the biggest things for him has been he doesn't want to be anything like his dad. He doesn't want, at least the negativity of it, he doesn't want the ripple effects to be something that our children see.
I saw a brighter day the day after we broke up. And I see it just gets better from there. I mean, you're freed up to grow again. It's the thing that we're meant to do in life. And I was free to find out who I was again.
If more survivors of domestic violence are willing to share their story and stand up and speak out against it, that will help other victims of domestic violence become survivors too. When you do have that friend or family member that makes that courageous step to confide in you that they're in trouble, or you see the warning signs that they're in trouble, that you know where to direct them, and you point them to New Life Center, we'll get them the help that they need here.
New Life Center helped Karen get back on her feet, and she was able to go out into the world and get a job for herself and support her two boys and live in a place of her own after being here and getting the help that she needed.
I couldn't be more blessed and highly favored right now to have even been able to break away. New Life Center was the turning point and catalyst to assist me from being a victim and turning me into a survivor.